Okay, so now we have access to this dev portal that can be fully customized. As I said, it's provided a template. I have logged in as this user, and I can see this API. And you could create these API keys up front with Kubernetes secret and so on, but it's very common that you want to let the user manage their own API keys and being able to rotate these keys when they want, and also you want to be able to scale to probably thousands or dozens of thousands of keys, which is not something that you would do easily with Kubernetes secrets. So we can update this export policy we have created for the API key authentication and just remove the Kubernetes secret storage option and change also the metadata, because here we are using usage plan instead of plan. So if I configure this, that means that I now want basically all the keys to be stored in Redis. So we use a salt to make sure everything is secured, and we basically automatically allow the user to create and manage their keys in the portal and store these keys with the associated metadata in Redis. So I'm going to just apply this here, and now as a user here, you see I am authenticated. I can go to API keys, and I can see I have access to one plan that's called Gold, but there is no API key created yet. So I go here and I create like a key called key 1, and you see this, as it says here, right? You cannot retrieve it, right? Because it's like stored with the salt in the Redis database, right? So we just need to. It's like in most of the cloud providers, right? If you lose your API keys on AWS, right, you need to create a new one, right? So you basically get this key once, and that's fine. If you forget about it, you just create a new one. But what's nice is that as a user, if I want to rotate my key, now I can create a key 2, update my application using this key, and then when everything works fine, I delete my old key, so I can really rotate everything manually on my side, right? So here what we are going to do, we are going to, let me just probably try to keep that key here just in case I need it later. But here what I want to show is that we can now use this key to access this API also from the UI. So here, if I go in this UI here, I can see the Redoc view here, and I can see the Swagger view. So the Swagger view gives you this ability to have this tryout button, and you can authorize your request. So I can say, okay, this is my API key I want to use, which is the one I just created. And now I can use this /API/bookinfo to list the product. If I click on try it out, then I can send a request and I get this expected 200 with the response code, right? So it's quite nice. Obviously, you can use the API key directly. You can use the Redoc view to see the API if you prefer this view. Like, it's very popular, people really like it in general. And there is one thing I want to highlight here in this video, is that as a user, I can download the Open API specification. And what's interesting, if I open this specification, is that you can see that the path correspond to the path that we have exposed to the end user. You see /API/bookinfo, which is not the path that we got from the backend, because you remember we do like this path rewrite so that we send the right path to the end user. And this is possible because what we do is that we either discover API docs or create them manually. And then what's happening is that automatically the platform is going to create this new API doc that is called Stitched, which is going to be recreating from scratch an Open API spec that has the right path that the end user is supposed to be using. So as you can see, it's quite powerful, and as I said, we can let the end user create his API keys, and being able to, as a self-service, being able also to use them, and being able to try out the API, and as you can expect, after 5 calls I get the 429 because I've been rate limited because I am part of this gold plan. And the user can see also some information about the metadata, so it cannot access the API key anymore, but it can see that okay, this key has been created with the metadata, with his planned goal and the email of this user that we got from this Joe token that's coming from the OIDC workflow.